and dry. If you just tuned in, I just want to tell people that Whoopi is off today because she has a very bad cold, which did not stop Elizabeth from drenching all of us.
And I just have to say how cool you are under fire, because that water came towards you quickly, and Barbara didn't show reaction. She moved her papers and she stood up and she smiled gracefully. She did. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
We've learned about Barbara over the years that she loves her baths. She does. She used to take baths with her daughter when she was little, right?
That's why
her baths. You call them the baths.
Yeah, I know the bath. Well, that's an old Boston accent. Yeah. But I used to take baths with my daughter because I didn't, sometimes I'd be working and I didn't see her all that much. And that was the time that we could be together in the bathtub. I recommend it. I think you should stop when the child gets to be about 23. But, Jackie and I still sleep together.
Yeah, you snuggle together. That's great.
Yeah. One time when I was a kid, there was this fat lady who lived in my building. And she had a skinny husband. And she used to come to my grandmother's house and say, oh, my husband and I took a bath together. And I'd say, like, how did she fit in the tub with him? She was really big.
Now, see, look, okay, it's funny.
I'm just reassociating.
Yes, you're a comic. You can say that, no problem.
Okay, so
I'm just saying.
What? Because I said she was
you're a comic, so you could say that. But if somebody else
says it, he gets in trouble. Yeah, that's true.
Apologize.
I want to ask you a question. So I went to an amazing dinner, and I was so pleased to have been invited. Friends of mine, Henry and Marie Jose Kravis, gave a dinner, and at the dinner was General David Petraeus, who is the commander of the U.S. Central Command. He was in charge of Iraq and what was going on there, and now he's in charge of what's going on and not going on in Afghanistan. And also Richard Holbrooke, Ambassador Richard Holbrooke, I mean, it was quite a dinner, who is our representative. What a terrible job this is to Afghanistan and Pakistan. Okay, but Petraeus was talking about Afghanistan and the different things that have to be done, that it's not just military, but it's negotiating and it's political and it may be money and so forth. And then last night, President Obama said we have to have an exit strategy, right?
Right.
For getting out of Afghanistan. It can't just be open-ended. Okay, but then somebody at the dinner said, well, what if we don't go into Afghanistan? A lot of people are saying, why should we risk any lives? Let them, do what they need to do and so forth. And General Petraeus said 9/11, terrorist, that it is still where Al-Qaeda is. And this other person said, but we don't think of that. We're not worried about terrorism anymore.
Because the economy has trumped. Yeah. And we find out a lot of the terrorists are on Wall Street. So, it's a little different atmosphere right now in the country because people are worried about putting food on the table. Yeah. And that takes priority over even something like that.
Have we forgotten 9/11?
It's just in the back of our minds.
And I don't think that we've forgotten, but I think that we are a country that when the next crisis comes up, it tends to trump the other crisis. And when you're losing your home and your pension is gone because somebody took it all, it's kind of hard to think about terrorism.
Well, it definitely feels more like an implosion now. You associate terrorism with certain explosions, and I think that what General Petraeus, who I have such tremendous respect for, maybe what he's trying to do is maybe remind us a little bit of the goal there. And I think that worldwide, long term, those situations that are going on in Afghanistan will come back to haunt us eventually.
And the borderline of Pakistan is talking. I mean, I hate to give a history lesson, but it is. Bush was elected the second term because he was still so worried about terrorism. He kept us safe. Remember, he kept us safe. Now it doesn't seem to matter.
Maybe we've gotten lulled into a kind of a false sense of security because we have been kept safe for this. I mean, you go to the airport, you don't think anything's going to happen, and so maybe we've taken things a little for granted.
My readings say that the FBI and the CIA are doing a much better job now.
Your readings? What readings?
My readings.
What readings? What is that? Enlighten us.
Just someone talking to you.
I meant the New York Times.
We will have a long life.
You got a line into the CIA? What readings?
Oh, my books, my newspapers. Come on, I can't get away with nothing on this show. Well, what was I saying?
The readings that said
No, the CIA and the FBI are doing much better jobs since 9/11. They got on the job. Remember when that happened? They weren't communicating. They didn't have a watch list. Now they're doing their job much better. So I feel better.
Well, I think that there's been steps put in place to ensure that we're more safe, and I hope that those continue. And I think the strategy that actually worked in Iraq was they went from this anti-terrorism where they'd find a terrorist, kill him out. al-Zarqawi, kill him, find another terrorist, kill him, to this counterinsurgency, which was the new strategy after 2007, which they're going to put into Afghanistan, which means just making people safe, providing them with security so that they can fight
We all know,
terrorism.
Elizabeth, that going into Iraq caused more people around the world to hate us, and it has increased terrorists around the world, the jihadists. We know that
you will
now.
find
so when this whole thing
otherwise.
about Bush keeping us safe, maybe in the short run, but I don't know in the long run if he has.
In the long run, we are going to be more safe
there
based
and
on
they're
these
mad.
actions.
But that's what I'm saying.
Who's mad?
Can we be
Whoever wants to kill us. I don't think
They
that
were
he did a
mad
great
anyway.
job.
Guess what? They've been mad for a very long time. They're not going to be happy anytime soon.
Exacerbate the hatred.
No,
We're
we're
going
actually
into a country that had nothing to do with 9/11.
It's a success now, though.
It's a story.
We're talking about Afghanistan.
But do you really think that, I'm just asking, if we leave them alone, that they're not going to try and mess with us? If we just go, oh, you guys just deal with it, that eventually it is not going to affect us?
I'm not sure. It's a complicated situation. We're not really...
That is, you know, it's a new discussion, and it's something that Barack Obama certainly is not laughing at. In addition to everything else, it may be on the back burner, but it's heating up. Well, now we're going to...
Barbara, that laughing that he was doing in the 60 Minutes, I mean, it's like they're talking about the economy. It's so bad. What else can you do but laugh? Everyone has that in their life.
He's not making fun of it.
We're going to come back with more hot topics, but before we do, say something funny. Go ahead, one of you. Say something funny. Because you said we have to laugh. You're a comedian.